In the last video, I showed you why the dollar is a lie. Today I'm going to show you what people who actually know about the system are doing about it. Because here's what nobody told you. The wealthy aren't smarter than you. They just learned one rule that changes everything. They don't save money. They escape it. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to do the same. Welcome back. My name is Simon, and this is part 2 of my money series. If you haven't watched part 1, go watch it right now. Link is in the description, because what I'm explaining right now will only make sense if you watch part 1. For those who did watch it, you already know that the Federal Reserve is printing your purchasing power into nothing. So the question right now is, what can we actually do about it? There's a concept that schools never teach you. And it's the reason why the gap between the rich and the poor is growing larger and larger over the years. It's the difference between a currency and an asset. Currency is what the government prints. It flows through your hands. It loses value. Assets are things that hold or grow in value, regardless of what the dollar does. Rich people think in assets. Everyone else only thinks in dollars. Let me actually make this real for you. In 1971, the year that Nixon killed the gold standard, the average house cost $25,000. Today, over $400,000. Did houses suddenly become 16 times more valuable? Did wood and concrete got that much better? No. Basically, and simplified, the dollar just got weaker. The person that owned that house didn't get rich because they were a genius. They got rich because they held an asset and not a currency. That is the game. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. So how do you escape the dollar? There are basically 4 main ways that I want to explain to you in today's video. And I'm going to break down each one of them, including their risks. Route 1, and basically the most simple one, stocks. When you're buying a stock, you're basically buying a small piece of the company. A company that owns factories, technology, people, and products. If the dollar loses value, but the company keeps on selling products, the stock price rises. Not because the company got better at the first place, but because the dollar just got weaker. This is why the S&P 500 has returned 10% annually. It's not magic. It's an inflation hedge, disguised as an investment. The mistake that most people make is treating stocks like a casino. In and out, just chasing quick gains. But the people who win, they buy great stocks and hold them whilst the dollar loses value. You don't even need $10,000 to start. Fractional shares start even at $1. Now, the second route, real estate. The oldest escape route in human history. Land is scarce. They can't just make more of it. And as long as people need somewhere to live, it holds value. But here's the part that nobody talks about. You take out a mortgage, you're borrowing today's dollar and paying it back with tomorrow's cheaper dollars. You get me? Inflation actually works for the property owners. You don't need to buy a house tomorrow, but understanding real estate as a system, like house hacking, long-term ownership, is knowledge that pays you forever. The third route, gold and silver. Gold has been around for more than 5,000 years. And you know it will hold value over time, just because the facts that we covered in the last video. Gold has never failed humanity. Every historically noticed fiat currency has failed against gold. The Roman denarius, the Weimar mark, and the Zimbabwean dollar. Gold existed before all of them and after all of them. It holds value while everything falls apart. Now let's talk about the fourth route. And I know half of you just tensed up, but stay with me. Bitcoin was created in 2008, right after the financial crisis. Specifically as a response that everything that we talked about in part 1. Its creator built one rule in the code that can never be changed. There will only be 21 million Bitcoins. Ever. There can't be more of them. No central bank, no president, and no committee can change that. Compare that to the dollar, where the Federal Reserve created more money in 2020 than in the entire prior history of the United States. Bitcoin has no CEO, no headquarters, no switch off. It runs on 1,000 computers around the world simultaneously. To shut it down, you'd have to shut down the entire internet. Is it volatile? Absolutely. Is it risky? Yes. Should you put your entire life savings into it? Absolutely not. But is it the hardest money ever created in human history? with a transparent, unchangeable, mathematical, guaranteed supply, that argument is worth taking seriously. Now let's talk about the psychology barrier. I really want you to hear this. Even though I knew these facts and everything about it, I didn't act on them for years. Because the system doesn't only control your dollars, doesn't only control your money, it controls your mind. We're conditioned from childhood to trust the government, trust the banks, and trust the dollar. Questioning that feels radical, feels irresponsible. Honestly, I was just too scared to invest, because at least the numbers in my bank account looked stable. If I looked at stock prices and the charts, everything felt random, like the casino. And that is the trap. A number that looks stable, but buys less every year, is not stable. Maybe now you would start researching, looking up stocks, watching the charts, waiting for the perfect moment to buy. Should I wait until it drops a little bit more? Or should I buy tomorrow? Maybe it will go down a little bit more. Oh, now it got up, so I can't really buy it anymore because it's a higher price than yesterday. And 6 months later, you still haven't bought anything. Because the perfect moment doesn't exist. It never does. But here's the harsh truth. Nobody times the market perfectly. Not professionals, not hedge funds. Nobody. The strategy that beats everything over time is a monthly saving plan. Now I want you to pick an amount that you can afford to invest monthly. Even like $20 or $50. Some month you buy high, some low. But it averages out over time. And it completely removes the emotional decision making. The goal shouldn't be to buy the perfect price. The goal should be that you're invested while everyone else is standing on the sidelines. But what do you actually do if you start out from nothing? You don't need all four. And you don't need a financial advisor. You don't need $10,000 in the bank to start. You start with one thing, $1 and one concept. Maybe it's $10 of fractional shares every month. Maybe it's buying a single gram of silver. Maybe it's just putting $20 into Bitcoin and really start to understand it, how it works. The amount doesn't matter at the beginning, but the habit does. The mindset shift does. The rich don't have a secret formula. They just understand one thing that most people don't. Real wealth is never stored in currency controlled by someone else. It is stored in things that hold value over time regardless of the dollar or any other currency. Gold held its value through the fall of Rome. Real estate survived the Great Depression. Bitcoin survived being declared dead 400 times. The dollar, it lost 87% of its purchasing power since 1971. You can decide where you want to store your future. Part 3 is coming, and this is where we'll cover one route specifically and go in full detail. So if you want to see that, like and subscribe, and see you in the next video.